so I picked up the watch, put it on my hand, and I went back into class. Then once I got back into class, Mr. Frankie Quintiliani, one of my friends who was usually on ADHD medication, but I don't know if he was that particular day, he came up to me and he said to me, "That's my watch." And I said, "It's not your watch. I found it outside," which clearly means that it didn't belong to anyone beforehand, right? It just grew there. I mean, I harvested the watch. That's how watches get made. They show up under slides. And if you go out at the right time of day, you can find them. So I found this watch, finders keepers. And Frankie was like, "No, that's my watch." And I was like, it doesn't matter if it's your watch or not. It's mine now. I have the watch. And this became a big thing. My parents were involved. Frankie's parents were involved. The school was involved. And eventually I gave Frankie his watch back because, yes, it was his watch. And, yes, I had stolen it regardless of whether or not I thought I had stolen it at the time. Because each one of us wants a shortcut to get something that we want, right? We've got these desires. We've got these thoughts. And, here are the options, really. Here are the options. I wrote down these thoughts. I can get, if I want something and you have it, I can get what I want by paying you, by offering you something of value, some money or something. I can get what I want by trading with you. I can take something that I've got and give it to you, and you can give me something that you've got. That's how I could get what I want. Or I can wait around for you to learn God's ways of doing things and start sharing with me. That's my other option, but waiting stinks. I don't like waiting, much less I don't like waiting for God to work in your life. Because that takes forever for God to work in your life the way I want Him to work in your life. But there's a shortcut. I could just take it, right? I could just walk right up to you or maybe sneak into your house or something. I could just take it. This is the thing. I can take action today to somewhat satisfy these desires I have, or I can wait around for God to somehow come to the point of dealing with these situations. I'm angry with you, I can deal with it now, or I can wait for God to sort out who's right and wrong. I really want to be fulfilled in this particular way, or I can wait, I can act right now, or I can wait for God to bring about the circumstances that He says is how He wants me to live. I can take what I want now from you, or I can wait for God to inspire you to share generously with me. But all of these things are shortcuts. So here you go. Here's the next statement to write down. Stealing comes from a selfish heart that wants a shortcut. Let's move on. Let's go to lying. Well, actually, you know what I'm going to say about lying. Lying comes from that's right, a selfish heart that wants a shortcut. Because if I hide the truth, I bypass all that uncomfortable stuff where I have to explain myself and justify myself and tell you why I chose to do what I did. If I just hide the truth, all that uncomfortable stuff is gone. So my selfish heart says, no, I want to bypass this process and take a shortcut. Okay. So let me see if I can give you some takeaways. Here's the conclusion about all this, though. I want to draw this out for you specifically. It's that shortcuts, every single shortcut, takes us away from God's will for our lives. See, God has a pathway for us. He's got a plan for us. He's got a direction for us. He's got a goal for us. But check this out. You and I don't have any idea what God's destination is for my life or for your life. More than that, you and I don't have any idea the whole path He's going to take me on to get there. And so since I don't know God's destination for my life, and I don't know the details of His path to get me there, every time I take a wrong turn, I am completely gone. And somehow you got to turn around and get back to where He says, this is my will for your life, so that you can get on that path moving forward. Now, I'm like you. I like shortcuts. I like driving fast. I like getting to my destination sooner. And so I figured I would tell you about some shortcuts that I've taken, because I've taken some remarkable shortcuts. I once took a shortcut from Niagara Falls back to Chicago by going through Canada. That was an awesome shortcut. Every single day of the week that I take my kids to school, I try to take them according to a shortcut that I think is going to get me there faster. And I personally believe I have maximized my travel times by doing some things that you would consider very weird. If I explained to you my route going to school in the morning, like I've explained to my wife, you would think I'm nuts. But I'm convinced I have maximized my time by doing some of those little things. Nothing illegal, but I'm doing some tweaks that you wouldn't necessarily do. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm going to tell you about another shortcut. There was a time when I was in Chicago, and I was convinced, because my wife was convinced, that IKEA was the place our family needed to go. That everything good happened at IKEA. For those of you who don't know what IKEA is a Swedish, I believe, furniture store where basically everything they sell is something you have to put together, but it's cheap. And just so you all know, full disclosure here, this table right here came from IKEA in Chicago, the very one I'm talking about driving to. Well, this was a long time ago. So when we first moved to Chicago, we knew there was this IKEA store out there. I knew it was by Woodfield Mall. I had driven past it a number of times. On the Kennedy Expressway, it then turns into the 90, which is a tollway, and you go right past the IKEA. You can see it from the freeway. And so I knew I wanted to go there because Jen wanted to go there, and they had cheap stuff. She told me, she assured me. So I said, okay, let's go. But I had a problem. Here's the whole map, okay? So my family, we lived over there by the A on Lincoln and Peterson, and then we had to go over, down, over, and then we're on the Kennedy Expressway, which then turns into toll road there, then comes up, and then right up here, this is where the IKEA is. According to Google, this is the IKEA. So according to Google, it takes 38 minutes to go from there to there. But I took a shortcut. And you'll find out how awesome it was. There are two problems with this route. The first problem is that when you go west on Peterson Avenue, in order to make it over to 90, you have to go south on Pulaski Road and then west on Foster. And I tell you what, Foster was a slow road. I mean, there were stop signs and stop lights, and it was like 30 miles an hour the whole way. It was annoying. I knew about that road. I'd taken this route once or twice before, and I knew I hated it. But what I hated the most is the knowledge that I needed to go west and the requirement to turn south. I hated that. I know I needed to go west. I know I needed to go north, and I hated the concept of turning my car southward. So that was one problem. The second problem was that this road 90 turns into a toll road after it crosses 294, and I simply didn't want to pay any tolls. So I thought there's got to be some way of minimizing my need to do tolls. And I knew about this road up there. It's numbered 72